What's going on, Team MG? Back with another video. A lot of people have been asking about the advanced flexing in motion and what I'm looking for. So we know horsemanship flexing is just one hand. So much of the respect series, so much of what we teach is just one hand, just one hand. Hey, get that horse flexing in motion one hand at a time. Hey, just look left, look right, so on and so forth. But as you start getting that horse more advanced, we go from one-handed flexing at a standstill looks like this, all right, to finish flexing or advanced flexing. That's gonna look like this, where we use two hands and we're looking, see how that horse drops his head? That's called breaking from the pole. The pole is here, so we're looking for him to give there, and we do that by not giving up the outside rein. So there we go. So it makes him look downward. A horse like this that's like a buck threat, that likes to crow hop, that likes to buck, the softer and more broken the face we get him, the less likely he is to do any shenanigans like that. So then putting that in motion, one of the tricks that I like to use a lot is I will put my rein below my knee here as I'm traveling forward, and then I will flex to my hip on this side and release. By having that hand down there, a lot of times I'll put the reins, instead of in front of my saddle where it's pulling on my saddle, I'll put it behind. We'll flex him up here and release him. And as long as he has his head down, there we go. As long as he has his head down, he's comfortable. And he feels like he's loose rein. So having that slack past your knee, it really gives you a low vantage point, a really low place that you're pulling. Remember, halters and snaffles are direct contact, so wherever your hand, if your hands come up here, you're asking for that horse's head to come up there. So our ability to be able to flex him and all that pressure be downward, that's why when you're long line, they really like to put their head down, because the long lines, they're coming through the stirrups, and the stirrups are even lower than what I'm calling them here. Whenever we switch, we'll switch, and I'll go to this other side, and it's the same thing. Let me turn around where you can see it. But notice that slack is down here below my knee. Whenever I start asking him to flex on this left side, that rein can't give anymore because my leg is already touching him, and I can start asking of him here. So the only place he feels comfortable is in between my two hands, in between where that release is. So look at this horse. When he came to us for training, he likes to have his head up here in the sky. And whenever he starts bucking, when he starts crow hopping, nobody could deal with him. He's a big, strong specimen. So when he would do that, I mean, you were either going to hold on for dear life or get ejecto seated. Now that he is soft in the face, look, I'm even happen to be wearing spurs on him. I mean, if you would hear the stories about this horse before he came here, you would think, he'll never ride in spurs, he'll kill you. The pressure is never the issue. His inability to listen to it, and his ideas that we can't touch him with spurs or a crop or kiss to him because he'll buck instead of going. Now that he's softening up in that halter, now I can ride him around. We'll see if we get that canter departure without a buck. See how he wants to pick his head up? That's exactly what I'm talking about. As you go faster, they want to get stiffer. Right now, flexing in motion is my priority over going fast. But notice as I went fast, he wanted to pick his head up and get straight again. So I'm going to ask him again. Notice even at this canter here, I'm still looking to keep him off center. I'm still looking to flex him in motion. And hold. And I even kept him flexed, there we go, during the stop. Guys, that is basically, in a nutshell, what will get you so soft and so easy at any speed forward. Your ability to get him to flex in motion, however fast you're willing to go, the horse should flex at that speed. Michael, that doesn't make sense. Nobody's flexing. Yes, they are. If you see the rein, if you see them in the warm-up pen, they do everything straight and square when they're in the show arena. If you see them up in the warm-up pen, those horses can canter and look at them because they're so disconnected here in the face, from their face to their body, and that rider's in such great control that they don't think that they can do anything with the rider. So your ability to disconnect them from here was our ability to take this horse from a I'll buck anybody off horse to a hey, I might get this horse and start doing some roping on him as long as he stays here, because man, he has the perfect build to be a good head horse. So that's advanced flexing. The difference between flexing in motion and advanced flexing in motion is simply that we're using two hands instead of one. Instead of just turning his head to the right, he is dropping his head and turning his head to the right, breaking from the pole, looking to put his nose down, his nose in. The end goal of any finished horse is that walk, trot, or canter, if we pulled in a straight line, that we could put his head down to vertical, and that's a very fancy way of saying put your nose down, put your head down, that we could just go straight here. Before you get to that point where you just pick up the reins and he wants to drop his head, we have to get him off center. Whenever we take his face away from center and we do that flexing in motion, us getting him off center takes away half of his power. So it's a lot easier to work on going to the side than going in a straight line. Try this at home and I'm telling you, you're gonna see huge differences in your horses. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.